So the first thought I have around estrangement is a concept that's called negative sentiment overdrive, which means that when we have had maybe patterns of estrangement and distancing in our family, when there's a problem or a disconnect or a misunderstanding between family members, that what we end up focusing on, especially if it's been for years, is we focus on that one negative aspect of that person. And we don't look at anything else other than that, like that this person doesn't exist in the world, or with their own attributes, or with their amazing characteristics and qualities. Only thing that exists is this negative aspect. Like they won't see us, or they won't talk to us, or this person did that, and I'm going to only see that about them. And that is really limited thinking. And sometimes in a family, we have to accept that because we can't change. If we want to change that dynamic and someone doesn't want to change that dynamic, we really can't do anything about it. But what you can do for yourself, if you're in that situation and you're seeing the negative sentiment overdrive, you're seeing that there's this like honing in on this negative aspect of the other person, and this other person is honing into a negative aspect of you. And then there's like very much blindness and all the other parts. The only way you're going to have any effect on this system is to find your own peace. That's a really easy thing to say, right? But that would mean that I would want you to stop doing any thinking or ruminating about this person and about that negative sentiment overdrive piece. The more that you ruminate about it, the more you create it. And our minds are like that. And it's so amazing how our minds are. If we keep telling them that's what's true, we're telling our brain, this is what happened. This is exactly what happened. We're just making that aspect or that negative sentiment overdrive bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it becomes our reality. And there's nothing else we can see, right? We have a massive blind spot. But if we keep making the good parts of our life important and the people we connect to important, like equally or more than important than the negative sentiment overdrive, then we still get to live in the world of non-conflict. So you can choose, right? I'm going to live in a world of conflict by just continuing to have this version, have this version, have this version of the story, or I'm going to start focusing on myself, my life, and the people I connect to get strong. Not strong so I can fight this person and win this battle, but that you can continue to develop yourself, and you can continue to allow your mind to expand and relate and grow, and not get stuck in depression or stuck in a negative cycle. So, the more we think about something a certain way, the more that it is that way. And then there's no openness. So you might think, okay, well, how is that going to work? The only thing I'm asking you to do is to consider that as a possibility, and that every time you start getting that negative thinking about that person, or you're ruminating that that person has a negative thinking about you, I want you to think about your life and your connections and your capacity and ability to have joy in your life. And from there, I want you to pull into this idea that you having a deep sense of peace, no matter what goes on, is the only reality that really exists. That you have deep peace no matter what is going on. So you return to peace, like, okay, here's the test. Maybe you see that person, they don't say hi. Maybe there's a family gathering, you're not invited. Maybe you have a family gathering, you don't invite them. Maybe their kid can't contact you anymore and you're so upset about that. Maybe there's tons of other things that bring you into huge, huge emotional despair. I would ask you to slow that down and to think, like, no matter what goes on, whether I see that person, whether they invite me, whether their kid talks to me or not, or I'm missing this thing about them, that I am going to practice having a deep sense of peace in my life and in myself, and that's the practice. It sounds so simple, but it's not. It's actually not simple at all. It's a daily practice of making your brain get out of the negative thought, and also remind yourself of acceptance in a lot of ways. So acceptance is also accepting the fact that maybe in life we don't get to be connected to all the people we want to be connected to. Maybe our relationships and our friendships and the people that we trust are not everybody, and that's not a bad thing. That's kind of a natural, rational thing, that all relationships don't last for a lifetime. People don't see eye to eye. People have stuff going on that they that you might not know about, or just might be about their mental health. And that some of it is just to see where the openings are, where you can have the biggest connections, where you can be your own self, that you can be your best self in. And those are the places to really show up and live in. So these are concepts that I'm going to continue to unravel and tweak as I bring you more tools on how to deal with the situation of being disconnected and estranged from people that you once cared about, or you feel like are people you should be staying in touch with.